So we're gonna get started with the Public Safety Commission meeting. It's Wednesday, June 26th. We're at the Greenfield Fire Station for the first time. I'm pretty excited about that. All right, I'll just make the chairperson's statement. This meeting is being recorded by the Public Safety Commission. If any other persons present are doing the same, you must notify the chair at this time. Is anybody recording the meeting locally? And is anybody recording the meeting on Zoom? All right. Just give me a second. And just folks in the audience here live, just so you know, it's the recording is probably can pick up lots of everybody in the room, not just us. So just wanted to throw that statement out there.
I'm talking about us. If I'm going to be right.
Exactly. All right. Okay. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order and I'm going to take a roll call of commissioners. There's three of us here. David Lanoy will not be making it. Commissioner Burge.
Present.
Commissioner Jarvis.
Here.
And I'm here, Commissioner Moscaritolo. So we have a quorum, so we could have the meeting, so you guys didn't waste your time, which is great. All right. Let's okay. We'll move on to public comments. Is anybody here, I'll start in the room, want to step up and make any public comments? Is anybody online want to make public comments? Chief, are they muted online? Do you know?
Have to unmute themselves.
Okay. Does anybody out there in the Zoom world want to make public comments? Going once, twice, three times?
Hi, David. It's Stephanie Duclos, 166 Chapman Street.
Okay. Hi, Stephanie. Welcome. You'd like to speak?
I want to throw my support for the substation on Main Street. I think it'll help with a lot of the problems that are occurring down there, and I'm looking forward to having it back there. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? All right, we're going to move on. I guess I didn't include approving meeting minutes. Did I not do that?
We can throw that in there, no?
Yeah, we can do that. So we're going to approve meeting minutes from last month, May. You all received them, commissioners? Or any comments or questions on the meeting minutes?
No.
All right, we'll approve things by vote. I think that's how we have to do it now. So,
I need a motion. I'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion, sorry.
There you go.
Second?
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, all those approving, Ed,
Yes.
I approve them. Maria?
Yes.
Okay, meeting minutes have been approved. Great, so we're gonna move on. So I'll invite AMR up to speak first. Then I will ask, before you speak, I'm gonna ask I don't think we need to have a motion for this, but I'm gonna ask the commissioners if we could flip flop a little bit, and the police have asked if they could do their updates next because of sometimes time constraints with some child support. So if you don't have any issues with that, I'm gonna flip flop a little bit.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay, all right, welcome. Do you know what, I want everybody that comes up to state your name for the folks that are on Zoom, because they might not know who you are.
No problem. It's Mark LaFrade. I am one of the operations field supervisors for AMR. I'm
Welcome.
here in lieu of Kim D'Angelo, who
Yes.
couldn't make it tonight.
Thank you, Mark.
No problem.
And you sent, Kim sent over her updates, I believe, right?
Yes, sent me the message, so I have them to give to the group.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So the total responses for January of 2024 up through May of 2024 for our crews at AMR. In January, we had 484 responses. In February, there was 406. In March, there was 413. In April, there was 390, and in May, there was 423. And just some other notes, in the calendar year of 2023, in the town of Greenfield, there were 3 cardiac arrest saves with a CPC of 1 or 2. So CPC stands for cerebral performance category. That's a category from 1 to 5. And the grade 1 and grade 2 basically means those patients walked out of the hospital with either no neurodeficits or very minor neurodeficits, and they basically can continue the life that they were having before the cardiac arrest happened. So, and then during our EMS week award ceremony at the end of May, not only were the Greenfield AMR crews recognized that had those saves, but also Greenfield Fire Department, Greenfield PD that were on those calls were recognized at our award ceremony. And Kim will be bringing up those save award certificates to the respective departments sometime in the near future.
Thank you for that.
And then no problem. And then the other last thing of note is starting the beginning of fall, September-ish, will be the new shift bid. So every once a year, we basically put a new shift bid out to all the employees, just if they need to make schedule changes or whatnot. And that will help realign the newly graduated paramedics from the Illinois Learn program to basically get their schedules set in place. Most of them are starting to finish their upgrade process now. That's actually all I have from her for right now. So if there's any questions or.
Any comments or questions, commissioners? Thank you for your support in all your hard work for our city.
No problem.
With those saves and everything else. We appreciate it. Can you just spell your last name again?
No
for me?
problem. It's
So I-
LAPRADE.
Alrighty, what?
LAPRADE. D as in dog.
Gotcha.
Mark, you're gonna, after this, you'll take off, right? You have.
Yes, sorry, my kids are playing down at Murphy Park,
Okay.
so.
Well, thank you for
No
being
problem.
here and your updates. If we have any further questions, we'll ask them next month.
Yeah. No
So
problem.
thank you.
All right,
so much.
take care, everyone.
All right, so we're gonna do some flip flops. So we're gonna invite the entire police department. You wanna bring dispatch up too?
Yeah.
Okay, just chief. It's too bad Chris isn't here with his muscle shirt and his shorts, but that's okay.
They're doing work right now.
You got to go second tonight.
Yeah.
You got your
Bag and plead.
See,
I'm a nice guy.
Dispatch can't upstage him today.
Taking a
I'm
minute.
a nice guy, I'm a nice guy. Welcome. Can you state your name for the audience in case of somebody that's.
Todd Dodge, Chief Greenfield Police, and William Gordon, the Deputy Chief of Police. So first thing we're gonna do, Deputy Chief's gonna introduce 2 new patrol officers in processing right now. You guys wanna come up? So the first one I wanna introduce is Bob, and Bob, I can't remember. the last name. Johnson, I knew it was difficult, and Zoe Smith. And if you guys could give a small introduction of yourselves.
I'm Robert Johnson. I've been a police officer for the past 5 years and in the military for the past 10. I'm very excited for the opportunity to serve the city of Greenfield.
I'm excited about the fact that he shaved his mustache.
I did that for you.
That was
Actually about an hour ago.
And you're located where now again?
I'm in Springfield, sir.
Springfield.
Yes, sir.
he comes to us academy trained. And so we'll be able to utilize him right away on the streets. And he has a really good community policing background.
Hi, I'm Zoe Smith. My pronouns are she and they. My family just recently moved to Greenfield. I've been in public safety for over 2 decades. I've been a part-time police officer for 17 years in the town of Sunderland. And I've been a paramedic for about 20 years. Most recently, I was the chief of South County EMS for 10 years. And I recently completed the bridge program, so I'm now fully post-certified. And this is an opportunity for me to kind of realize a childhood dream, the career I didn't get to pick back when I was 18, 19, and living in Greenfield, having my family connected here, and with everything that's happening now, the downtown initiatives, getting more of that community policing into the public, it's really an opportunity that I'm thankful for because I wasn't going to get that exact type of opportunity anywhere else. So I appreciate it.
So Zoe has been also working with our department as a tactical medic on our SRT team. So we've known her work ethic through that, and she is highly has a high reputation in the area of being a community person. So I've talked extensively to the Chief of Sunderland, who is really upset that we're stealing one of his best, and her reputation as a paramedic is outstanding. So we're very excited. We got two great polls.
Excellent.
The long and short of it is, if you, both of them, they're being very modest because their resumes are absolutely outstanding. We're lucky to have them on board. And like the deputy chief referred to, they're both academy trained or waived. So this will be the first round of us offering a sign-on bonus that we had talked about before.
Yes.
That has been approved. So they'll be able to take advantage of the sign-on bonus. And we're still in this particularly zone. We're talking about a few little incidentals that we're trying to work out that I'm confident will be able to jump. So hopefully we'll be able to get them started pretty soon. They'll do the field training program and be out and running.
Joey,
ZOE.
gotcha.
Last name is Smith. Nothing complicated. Yeah.
No. Smith and Johnson was easy for him, so.
I was gonna ask Bob if he played the guitar, but
I do not. I can get the reference.
well, any questions from the commissioners?
Just a comment, it's great to have people that you guys came forward and want to work in Greenfield with your background, your experience that you bring to the table already. Sounds excited, you guys sound excited to be here, so welcome aboard and thank you in advance.
Thank you. Welcome.
I think you want a confidence vote from us, I believe. right?
Sure. Yep.
In case the mayor asks, so can I have a motion?
And then,
We'll do it both at the same time.
Yep, do both at the same time that I motion that we give a positive recommendation to the mayor to the two new hires for the PD.
In a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations. We look forward to
Thank you so much.
seeing you on the streets.
Thank you to the board.
You guys.
Oh, thanks. All right. I also have childcare issues, so I appreciate it.
Here's why we need to do this.
Oh my goodness.
You have it?
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. That's all right.
Nice meeting you.
Whenever we can put you on the spot, we will.
Absolutely, sir. Appreciate the opportunity.
The hiring bonus was really not a huge determining factor, although it was a determining factor. But the reputation of the men and women of the Greenfield Police Department is really what brought these two great candidates. Absolutely.
It's really great that we're able to get folks that have invested in themselves and, you know, in our investment is in them quickly. And we don't have to, they can
Huge.
be there right away. That's it.
And hiring, it shouldn't go unstated, hiring academy trained people is saving the town or the city about $50,000 a piece by the time you pay for academy costs and their paychecks while they go through the academy. So we'll have these people on board for the summer. And if it wasn't for having an academy trained person, you wouldn't see them until next summer. So, so all requests went in as of July 1, we can add the other. So Lieutenant Haskins is, as we speak, working with Police App, which is the hiring software that we use to promote hiring. So we're actually still going to be looking for one. So that'll be that new position that we're creating that was supported in the budget. So there will be one additional officer. So the reality is once we get one more, then we can fully man that substation as previously described.
Mhm.
We want to put two in there. So.
I have a question about that. Are you, is that gonna have to go through a bidding process?
Yes. Yep. We haven't posted anything formal, but obviously like anything else, the discussions are circulating around the PD. And there are some more senior officers who are actually seemingly expressing interest in that position. So It's amazing to see today. I think community policing back in our early days was sort of more like a buzzword, and it really, I mean, we knew what they were talking about, but the majority of candidates we're talking about right now, they want community policing. That's what they're looking forward to doing. So they're all right in line with where we're trying to take this thing. So I couldn't be happier at the candidates we're talking to, because they're leading with that conversation. And not only are they leading with the conversation, they're citing the examples of how they've been doing it. So they're not just talking it, they've been doing it, and they're looking forward to Greenfield to allow them an opportunity to expand on it. They come from smaller departments, or like in Zoe's case, not full-time. So she's looking to actually do it more. So it's right in line with, I think, what we're all agreeing we need to do. So pretty exciting candidates there. We'll get back, we'll go to the stats stuff. For May, you can see the calls for service were 4,704, which was up 119 calls from the previous month. I was actually shocked at the next one. He was in my office, Deputy Chief was in my office when I put it together. The amount of time spent on those calls went up over 550 hours. So 550 more hours were spent handling calls for service just in the month of May. Again, that doesn't include the travel time, paperwork, booking, et cetera, that I had talked about earlier. Business district calls up again, 405 just in the business district, and that's up 10 from the previous month. Incident reports issued were relatively the same. They were up 4. Accident reports, I'm happy to report, were down 3 to 33. Arrest reports were up 1. So everything was pretty consistent with the previous month. Citations were down 3. So we're running pretty consistent month to month here. I'm assuming there'll be some spikes as normally seen in the summer warmer months. So, but that tale will be told at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Officer movement, as you indicated, as you saw, we have 2 academy trained and/or bridge waived individuals have reached out with their interest of transferring to Greenfield. You met them tonight. And again, we'll be posting on Police App for that additional opening. By the time the new fiscal year closes, there's likely going to be 2 additional spots that we're going to seek to fill. Main Street substation, we have the keys underway with the renovations. In fact, they're working on it right now as we speak. They did a bit of, little above minor demolition today. They pulled up all the old flooring. They took off some trim that was found to be pretty much rotted. They're in the process right now of replacing sort of some of the trim on the fascia. And we have individuals poised and ready to start attacking the walls and floors and things of that nature. So, as well as the paint. So if they keep the pace that they're on right now, that place will be up and running fairly quickly. I know it's been somewhat controversial, particularly on social media. It seems like everything we do is super controversial, but I think in the long run, this is going to pay dividends for the city of Greenfield, and it'll be a good move for us.
What technology there? Is it all set?
Glad you asked, because Sergeant Batinsky met with IT today, and they're going to put together quotes for cameras in there, for a 2-way communicator between there and dispatch, a computer station that would be similar to what we use at the PD for report writing. So he's putting together numbers. I guess it's GSEC compatible. I guess in there. I don't really know what that means. I don't have GSET. So, but I believe they can hook up to GSET from there. And then we just have to buy the hardware, et cetera, et cetera. But it should be, with the exception of purchasing the items, I think it's a relatively turnkey to get all that stuff up.
We should thank the fire department for providing us a beautiful desk and office furniture that happened to be surplus when they moved into this beautiful station. So we'll have it'll really look nice in there as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had
Thank
a
you,
new
Chief.
run down here. They secured that, and it's sitting in our lobby. That's not a lobby.
Is there gonna be communication with the public that walk up to the building or not? Any
That's
type
the
of-
two-way communication
okay,
device that
yeah.
I'm talking about. So I'm envisioning, although I don't know to what extent we'll get it, but I'm envisioning sort of like a small touchscreen display that anybody who wants to speak with an officer can sort of initiate communication with dispatch.
That will go to dispatch, it won't
It'll
go
go
to,
to dispatch. Well, they can knock on the door.
yeah,
Yeah.
if someone's, okay.
Yep. Yeah, if there's an officer there, they'll talk.
Okay.
But it's not always gonna be manned or.
Mhm.
You know, because we're hoping they're out walking around.
Sure, gotcha.
So, but if they're doing reports or things of that nature, and then we may have individuals covering shifts in there. With new uniforms. Yeah. Yeah, we're hoping this expands beyond just the police department. So civilian volunteers, things of that nature. Everybody's help is appreciated. So anybody can help assist individuals in need. So we're willing to explore those avenues.
Great.
The bids, as you guys know. That we fell short on receiving any bids for the dispatch project. No GC's bid on it. The only thing we received was an electrical sub bid. So that was put back out to bid and they just did, we had 3 contractors do the walk through yesterday. So I think that was better than last time. Yeah. So we had 3. What we still did not get was an HVAC company to go. So I guess what happens in that event is in the event a GC is selected, they will then have to work to find an HVAC. So we're hoping, we really want to get dispatch back into their room with the new stations, et cetera. So
When are the bids due? Back, you know?
they're opening, so July 25th, I just spoke with Tara Cadron today. July 25th is the bid opening day
Okay.
for the general contractors.
Yeah.
With that being said, you guys are familiar with the radio upgrades that we had been talking about for quite some time. So that's all done. Pittsfield Communication and Motorola and I met yesterday. They did a kickoff meeting to get that underway. So they're after the holiday week of next week. They're gonna start on that Monday and they're gonna build this radio system until it's done. So we should have finally our new radio system up and running and installed sometime after the 4th of July holiday. So that's interesting too. We also just ordered new desktop computers. The dispatch computers are end of life and they're struggling in just about everything they have in there. So Fernando ordered new desktops for them. So the infrastructure, the hardware in there is going to be fairly all new at some point.
Yeah.
We just need the room.
Gotcha.
I did want to report, as you've asked in the past, we did have some cruiser damage. One of the overnight officers conducting traffic enforcement while parked in a parking lot had a vehicle go by him upon exiting the parking lot at night. He collided the driver's side and dragged along a stump. So it did inflict quite a bit of damage to the vehicle, but the damage was about $3,500. Our deductible's $5,000, so we're paying for that, and it's being fixed right now. We should have that back anytime now. That was Cruiser 2. It's probably the oldest car in our fleet, but we still need it. The introductions we had, budget report. As you may be aware, City Council did in fact unanimously approve the transfer of $150,000 to purchase our 2 new cruisers. I'll let the deputy chief speak to those cars. He's actually designed these with MHQ, and we're pretty excited about this. Well, one of them is a typical cruiser that doesn't have anything special in it, except it has to have all new gear because the cruiser equipment that's inside the cars are getting too old to transfer them to new cars. Even cages, like you have to change the cage. There's no technology in it. It just doesn't fit the newer bodies. But the other cruiser, which is going to be assigned to our supervisors, is going to have a mobile command post or mini mobile command post in the back of the cruiser We actually got that idea from the fire department. The fire chief has a mobile command post in his cruiser. And it worked really good on a incident that we were on together. And the chief was like, that's what we need. We need to be able to have our commander sit down and be able to look at all the information, know where his people are. It's going to have the capabilities to plug a drone in so we can be able to see overhead overview of the situations, as well as another computer station that they'll actually be able to take the computer from the front, tag it into the back, utilize that monitor so we can put mapping and everything like that on. So it's very similar to what he has in his truck. It's just a little bit different, but we're very excited about that. It's going to really help us with our emergency management. So as he's underway in doing that requisition now. So I had mentioned earlier the MOU. We do have an in fact signed MOU allowing us to offer that sign-on bonus. So that's been turned into the charter of the city. We're good to go on that. As usual, I'd like to point out the co-response activity for the month. I did see on the bottom, you'll see that there's a new category under its community outreach initiative. So they're actually adding to their list of things that they do. So in this particular case, they did 10 sort of proactive community outreach initiatives. That means while out and about, they just proactively started handling various things in the co-response world. But they had 20 phone follow-ups, 62 in-person responses, which was 15 more than the previous month. They did 10 evaluations, which was up for the Section 12 involuntary committals were up for. They served 4 Section 12s. They issued 12, served 4, or issued 10 rather, served 4. ED diversions, again, the emergency department diversions, that is the point, like I've said every time with co-response, is to try to come up with an alternative to an arrest or hospitalization. And they were successful in diverting 3 last month. 4 did end up going to the hospital, 3 voluntarily, 2 were for medical reasons. Again, thankfully, no officers were injured during these calls. 2 summonses or arrests were issued. So they stayed busy. We are fully underway with 3 now. You met our 3rd last time and quickly integrated into the operation, and it's already sort of comfortable already with everybody. So any questions? Oh, sorry. One situation I wanted to bring up, and it's actually, I have to again thank Chief Strahan. The drone team was called out for a tactical incident that happened in Hinsdale, New Hampshire. They were able to utilize our SOV and the drone unit to have a safe for the first responders. Unfortunately, the suspect hurt himself, but safe for the first responders incident. I can't really talk about the incident because it's not our incident, but it was very much appreciated, utilizing it even out of state, where they were able to, it really made Greenfield look good, utilizing our equipment, our SOV, our drone, and before their state resources could come in. So that really impressed Hinsdale, New Hampshire.
It's great to help them out too. So
if any of you are interested, we just bought we bought a drone. It's not to the extent of the one you would see deployed on one of these calls. We bought one for the sole purpose of training individuals to run the drone. So if any of you are interested to see how that works and see the displays that you get, I was hearing stories about it today. It's the goggle type. So it's kind of like a VR. You're flying this thing and you're seeing what it sees. You guys are interested, come on up, reach out to Lieutenant Haskins. You can give you a little run through on the drones, but they've proven to be extremely helpful. Particularly in this case, the person was taking shots at.
in
So-
past cases too, right? I mean,
Thankfully, he missed it because they're not cheap. You guys got any questions for us?
I do.
can you can you talk about the details of the I don't quite remember the details on the sign-on bonus. Was that finalized when we were,
No, we're still in discussions, I think, so
Still- still
good, fair
discussions on it?
question. The way we're gonna do it is. Anyone academy trained, we don't have to send to an academy. Who is hired by us. Will receive a $2,500 initial payment. Upon successful completion of the field training, they'll receive the second 2,500. And at the completion, on or near the completion of a solid year, they'll get the balance. So we're not rolling the dice so heavily. So, I mean, we're not gonna cut a check for $10,000, they take the job and leave in 2 days. We're spreading it out to a point where we're more comfortable that they're gonna stay. So they have to give a full year investment before they get their second check. If they leave after that, we take a hit, but we're at least drawing it out.
But it would have been a smaller hit than
Absolutely.
sending them to an academy and having.
I was just gonna say, it's $50,000 versus $10,000. You're
It
still
was,
not.
it was the one the deputy chief, the deputy chief recommended that method. I wasn't even thinking that way. As it turns out, it's absolutely a good plan. And it just so happens that that number, shockingly, is exactly the cost of academy tuition and the testing to go, 10,000. Weird how the numbers play out like. I almost think it made sense.
we all knew, knew.
So essentially, we had it in our budget, because I budgeted for 3 academy slots this year. We still may end up seeing 2, or we still could end up seeing 3, because we don't know our next candidate yet, and we certainly don't, we're not even working on the 2 additional that we expect to need by the end of this year. And then, obviously, we can't see the future, so what happens even in between there?
In a time that many departments are complaining about recruitment and being able to get candidates to come on to just be interviewed, we're actually taking academy trained people and putting them on the streets. And these are high quality people that are coming. It's not just somebody else's problem that's coming. These are people that want to be here and we want them here.
Any other comments from commissioners?
I had a question.
Sorry,
but-
yes. Sorry.
My first question is,
I mean, you can tap me on the shoulder.
Bill.
I
too.
know I did. I just did. You were mentioning you were working on the cruisers.
Yes.
What are your feelings on the proposed
Glad you got
EV?
Oh,
Thanks for
My-
bringing that up.
yeah, actually, it is controversial. We got a little bit of blowback on Facebook with everything. Everybody puts their opinions, which is really what we want. You know, we want the community to be able to have their say. So we got people positive and people negative. It's a new technology for police departments. We acknowledge that. I don't think we should go all in. The chief and I were talking about it today, and we both are in agreement that it's not a bad thing. Greenfield police department is typically cutting edge. We like to be cutting edge, and we experiment with things. Sometimes things work, and it's phenomenal when it works. Some things don't work, but if you only invest the small amount rather than invest everything, you can test these things before they succeed or fail. So I think talking to the chief and it's more his idea than mine, is that we should start with one and see how it works in Greenfield. And can we keep our minds open to it and see the pros and cons, weigh it out, and then make a decision as we go on.
Well, I thank you for the comments on the paper, because that's how it got my attention, that, your concerns were the same concerns.
I had
that
a much longer conversation today with Carol Collins.
Yeah.
And she's great, by the way. It was a great conversation, and she agreed with what I had suggested as a plan.
Mhm.
And the plan I had suggested was one that doesn't hammer the taxpayer, but still gives us an opportunity to see if these work. Like, don't send us 5 of these cars. That's $500,000. Send us one. We don't even have the infrastructure to charge a car right now. In
Right,
fact,
right,
he had done the research. I've been spending time online doing the research. If we pull an extension cord out, it'll take 30 hours to charge these cars to full. You need one of their chargers. So having said that, prior to even having any of these conversations earlier in the week, I spoke with our
Joe Pugilis from Central Maintenance, the director. And I asked him first to do an audit of our current electrical supply. How much room in our panels do we have? And in an article I read today, the first line said, I think police departments are gonna find they don't have enough power. That's my suspicion. If that's the case, then we have to probably grab onto yet another pole and put a 440, 480 service on it, running to an underground system and running conduit across the driveway. I'm assuming, I don't know. But the initial investment could be pricey. Now, these are all the things that we need to know ahead of time. So I want to have like an educated conversation about it. I won't know until first, what do we have for power? Second, if we don't have enough, what is it going to take to get us enough? And then third, how much are these charging stations? We need to know that before we start venturing into electric vehicles. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I know a lot of people want to, but we got to kind of take this slow. And again, in terms of the shock to the taxpayer, don't dump a ton of money into this. Give me a car. Give me one. We'll run it just like a normal police car and we'll see how it stands. And then we'll give an honest report at the conclusion of this. We need to see what it works like in the hot summer. We need to know what it works like in the freezing cold winter. Is it working? Is it practical? Can it, is it sustainable? And if it is, awesome. I think as far as driving, I'm a car guy. As far as driving a car, the acceleration is incredible. I hear a lot of really good stories about that, but the electrical capacity is the biggest concern for us. We don't want to be en route to a call and have it die when we're going, hopefully save someone.
My thoughts on it, I'm glad that we just brought it up just real quick, we need to do a benefit analysis, a risk versus benefit instead of a cost analysis versus, we need a risk versus benefit.
But we're not gonna
analysis.
silence the roar unless we give one a whirl. I just, there's no way. People are simply not gonna say, well, you don't know. You haven't tried it. Well, then let's try it. I'm game. I want to try one. The trick is, when do we get it? How do we get it? Let's do it. And we're gonna put this thing to work and we're gonna give it a legitimate test. Carol Collins is fully behind that plan so that we can determine whether or not this is feasible. And who knows? Maybe at the end of all this, we find it was the best car we never had. I don't know.
There's pros and cons to everything, there's pros and cons to gasoline vehicles, hybrid vehicles, and EVs. And maybe 5 years from now, we're gonna have a whole different discussion on different fuel source. But definitely the Greenfield Police Department is on the cutting edge of technology. And I've done some research on the Chevys, and they are cool cars. They are pretty cool, but a car that works in Los Angeles does not necessarily mean it'll work in Greenfield. So I think taking small steps towards a goal is a good way of approaching it.
Now, do we have any other city departments have a? We do?
Yeah, that was a conversation today. Other departments have gotten them. I believe even the building inspector may have, or is in the process of ordering an EV. There are a couple other EVs out and about. And like I said, right now with the amount that there's a lot of things at play here. With the number of cars we have right now, I can tell you with 100% certainty, it would not work. We don't have enough cars. We haven't had a car ordered in 4 years. Some of those cars have died and they're gone to the junkyard because they're just gone. They're done. So we're replacing one car. One of the two we're ordering is replacing one that was towed out of here. Two of them that were towed out of here. So we're not gaining anything with these two cars. We're just replacing two that we haven't had access to for quite a while. The rest of them are at least 4 years old. So if you had an entirely electrical fleet, our cars right now are rolling all three shifts. They have to go out. Electric cars need to be charged. What do you do in the interim? And even with those high-speed chargers, it's 3-4 hours. That's what the really good systems.
And infrastructure for 10 high-speed charging stations is going to be cost prohibitive. I don't know exactly what it is, to be honest, but 10 high-speed chargers are very expensive.
400 amps.
Yeah. My assumption is we need a good mix of all of these technologies to really make it work. We should have some electric, maybe. We should have some hybrid, should have some gas. and then we have a sustainable fleet.
You know, if you're looking at a different location, then you would have to start over again.
Yes, correct.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, I would like to see, you know, you guys get a different place.
Mhm.
So now you're gonna go through all this, figuring electric stuff, and then all of a sudden, well, now we have a little place. And yeah, so those are all the things that when I first heard it.
Yeah.
And this is, there, I've heard a lot of negative for a police department, in my opinion. It's not, you know,
I just don't want to be the person who just automatically, for no other reason, dismisses the concept.
right,
I want to give it a shot. I honestly want to give it a shot. I think that's good for everybody.
Right.
Let's get one of these cars. I talked to some of the counselors state and who were probably detractors that actually agree with it. Let's do it. You remember the station wagon? Were you here for the station wagon? Paddy wagon? That didn't go up, that barely could get up the hill back in the 80s?
no.
Oh, okay, sorry. But, you know, we've tried other cars before, so it's not unusual for a department to try new things. So, you know, we've tried Tauruses, we've tried 4 cylinders, where, you know, we've gone 8 cylinders. So, you know, technology is what it is for that day. But again, we'll try it now. It may be, like we said, the car that we never even thought we needed. And then 5 years from now, we're talking about hydrogen. You know, who knows?
Well, I'm happy that you know, that you're presenting it that way. You're gonna start small and find out if it's gonna work. And
Just makes sense. It's really up to the town council. So
well, thank you.
unless you guys got some cars you want to donate. Wait a minute, that could be another controversy. Disregard that.
Any other questions, commissioners? Anything else?
I'll stay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome dispatch. Come on up. Don't be shy.
Let's see that the camera sees these 2 seats there. We didn't get to see those ones.
We're still working on the technology. We're tweaking it. Might have to squeeze in a little bit. Let's see what it looks like.
Want the little teeny peanut up there? Is it a boy, girl?
It's a girl. I think she should be all right.
You see them?
She's sleeping.
I'll keep an eye. We'll wake her up if you want.
Please don't. Please don't. I
Hi.
am Cindy Hunter. I'm the dispatch supervisor for Greenfield Police and Fire Dispatch. I would like the board to be introduced to our newest dispatchers who were actually only hired about 2 hours ago. So brand new. This is Madison Burrell. Yes. Okay.
Welcome.
And this is Heather Catlin. Hi.
Hi.
Madison is hired per diem, so she'll be training with us full part-time for a part-time position. Heather will be a full-time position. You guys just say a little bit about yourselves, right?
So I'm Madison. I just graduated from the Smith Vocational Criminal Justice Program. And within those years, I interned both at the Greenfield Courthouse in the clerk's office, and I have interned at GCC Public Safety under Chief Finesse.
My name is Heather. I'm 22 years old, and I decided to be a dispatcher because I'm trying to get more into the criminal justice field. I'm very excited to be working here. I've always had a love for helping people and, you know, just seeing the way the emergency personnel work. It's always been like a thing since I was little, so.
I'd like to say that we are very excited for both, of course. I know Heather doesn't have any experience, but Madison, on the other hand, comes to us with, she has APCO and 911. So that will save us sending her to a 5-day class plus a 2-day class. And she has many of the other certifications that we encourage as well. So she's ahead of the game for sure.
Excellent.
We're very excited for both. We have an anticipated start date for Madison of July 1st because we have to wait for the budget year. Middle of July for Heather, we are expecting, but that date is subject to change as our paperwork is progressing through town hall and HR. So we're very excited for both of you guys to be here.
So that brings us to 11 full-time?
That will bring us to 11 dispatchers. So the we unfortunately, if I could just backtrack just a little bit. So we lost our trainee that you guys actually met a couple of months ago, Melissa. She's no longer with us. But however, we were very fortunate that we had Johanna Guillot waiting in the wings. She was one of our per diems. She was already fully trained, and so we did not have to do any training with her. So she went immediately back on shift. So we were at 10. So the idea of the 11th position, which I know the chief and the mayor have encouraged and been very supportive of, is the idea is to get me off the desk and into the office. There are a plethora of things to be done and to be addressed. And so Heather will fill that position, and once she is trained, and I can come out of the dispatch center and into the office. And Lieutenant Haskins and I, he's my supervisor now. We have many, many things on our list to get on, so we're excited about that. So our vacation relief spot has been filled. I'm happy to say that is definitely saving us some overtime hours. For upcoming July, which starts our new budget year and also vacations. We're saving in excess of 80 hours of overtime currently, with Johanna being in the vacation relief spot. So that's making us very happy. And I'm sure the town as well. In May, we had about 95 hours of overtime. We had a little bit more for June because Johanna didn't start until the second week, I believe, in June. So it didn't save us as much in June. But again, I expect the savings to be quite significant. Let's see. Chief mentioned our radio project. We're excited that that's going to start in July. That's going to start being built. So we're excited about that. I know that myself and Lieutenant Kimball from the fire department will be going to a training to learn the new system. So we were originally supposed to go to Pittsfield for that, but the chief has made arrangements with the company to actually come to our station and do the training there. So that saves us the drive. So that's great. Let's see. So the end of the budget year actually brings our continuing education for dispatch has to be turned into the state so we can recertify all of our dispatchers. So I just wanted to give you guys sort of a little rundown of some of the classes that the dispatchers have been taking. We have taken some CIT training, which is, and now I'm losing my train of thought. CIT. Critical incident training. Thank you. That is having to do with the mental health aspect of our calls. So I actually have a handout for you. It's a little description of the CIT training for dispatchers.
Is this new training that you're doing?
It's newer, but they've been doing it for quite some time. The deputy chief has been a huge advocate of mental health training for us. And I'm happy to say that I think that we have contributed to diverting some of the calls that we're getting to our clinicians and our CIT officers. So the dispatchers are, I think about half of us, 6 or 7, I think, have been to this training so far. The other dispatchers have been to a form of this training, not this particular one. But I hope to get everyone to this after July 1st. So hopefully we will all have gone to this class.
Where is this training?
It's actually a Zoom training. They do it in 2 parts. It's an 8-hour class. They do it in 2 4-hour blocks. So we can either do it at the station, you can do it at home over your computer. It's very friendly in that way. See, some of the other trainings that we've gone to, let's see. Human trafficking, unfortunately, is becoming a thing, or is a thing. So we've gone to some trainings for that. We've had in the past year, I know we have taken at least 2 swatting calls. If you guys are familiar with what swatting is. Swatting. So it's when someone calls in an emergency to our dispatch center, but it's not a true emergency. It's fake, essentially. So we have taken classes for that. Domestic violence, suicide prevention, cultural diversity. I actually did a great class in Sunderland this past year. It was geared towards first responders, EMS, regarding LGBTQA+. Let's see. I attended, and I think one of the other dispatchers as well did. It's called alert training. It's actually an in-person training with police officers for active shooter. The one that I went to was actually held in Springfield, at a school in Springfield. It was very eye-opening and very real. So those are some of the trainings that we've been to. Let's see what else. I think that's For May, just to give you a little bit of insight into what we have been doing as far as call taking. We had 7,031 actual phone calls on the business line and 911 in May. And we had about 29,000 radio transmissions back and forth between ourselves, police and fire. So we're pretty busy. I think that's basically what we have. Do you guys have any questions? Any comments?
What was the total make calls?
So calls in May were 7,031. That was total for the business line and 911. That also, actually, that did not include walk-ins, so that would be a little bit higher with walk-ins to the station. And we had 29,251 radio transmissions between ourselves and the other two departments. So
A lot
we've been
of communication.
busy. Definitely.
Questions?
No, just comments, commission, congratulations, welcome aboard, glad to have you, glad to see that we have our 11th and we have our supervisor supervising. So it's
Soon.
funny, when I got introduced tonight, I said,
Soon.
you're number
Soon.
11. So
No pressure.
congratulations.
All right, I'm ready.
We
for
hope
it.
by next meeting. You'll be.
Maybe, we'll see.
next, and then
So
one or two.
the training period for a green dispatcher, someone with no experience, is usually 2 to 3 months, I would say. It can be 4 on the outside, I would say. We've streamlined our training a lot in the last year or two. We're now using a program. It's called Power DMS. It's a fantastic tool, does all the tracking of training, daily observation reports, that sort of thing. Lieutenant Haskins was great with that. He basically created the program with myself and another dispatcher. So it's a work in progress, but it's helping us a lot. Excited about that.
Any comments, questions? Well, congratulations and thank you for coming on board. Important first step. And this training, I think, is excellent. I mean, this matches the co-response training.
It really does.
And, you know, any training that these folks can get is just gonna help the folks behind you. So I
Absolutely.
really appreciate it. And we're happy you're gonna be able to do your
Thank you.
job and we happy about your future.
Thank you so
Always
much.
more opportunities, so.
Absolutely. And I just like to say, we always appreciate your support. That means a lot to us. So
All right, well, thank you.
thank you.
Okay. We're on to Chief Strahan and the fire department. It is new official firehouse.
Yes. Okay, I do not have a formal formal report for you, because we've been a little busy.
Just a little.
Just a little. So I'll start off by saying the ribbon cutting in the open house for here was very well attended both days. The real big turnout for the ribbon cutting, and it was packed during the open house. So a lot of folks in the community have had the opportunity to come see the firehouse, and we're happy to show it off. And grateful for the support of the city, its residents, and everybody involved with the project. So we are wrapping up with the project. There's still some stuff to do. The outbuilding's not fully complete yet, so we have a little bit of a storage issue right now until that gets done. But we're in good shape and we've been functioning out of here and doing well. Couple outstanding things behind the property. We have noticed since we've been here the need to put up a fence on the property line. So there's a fence going up back there. In next month's building committee, we hope to have a proposal to put in what they call a hybrid light out front in the firehouse here, as well as preemption to the other end of Main Street now that the project's winding down and we have a little bit more sense of where we stand with our budget, which I'm happy to report is on budget and under budget and may allow for these small items that we need to do to finish it. So
The move was, as expected, a challenge and a half. Moving a firehouse not once but twice in 3 years is something else. We did get a estimate for a contractor. So the tents and the trailers, we were responsible as a city to remove all the plumbing, the wire, any rooms that were built, the walkway, any holes put in walls, anything that we did or we were responsible for. So we went and got rough ideas on how much it would be for a private contractor to come and take on that responsibility. And the estimates we got back was in the, about $250,000+ for the work. Between the electricians, the plumbers, the fire department, central maintenance, DPW, a contractor, we were able to do the work for about a little less than 40,000. Awesome. So the firefighters really deserve a lot of credit for that. Everybody does. The DPW, the central maintenance folks, everybody worked really hard, sometimes 14, 16-hour days, working and getting, and so everything's off. And the buildings, the trailers have been turned over to the trailer company. They're in the process of taking them apart and removing them. The tents will be July 8th, I think is the date that they'll start taking those down. I think we have 4 pallets of stuff that we still have to get out of there, but everything else is down, out of there, trash. We ended up recouping a lot of this temporary steel, the aluminum and the metal bracing that they did for walls, and we ended up turning it into WT and brought back some money that way. So I mean, we really outstanding effort done by all. So happy to report that we have a couple in town, and I cannot give their names. They would like to remain anonymous, but have donated $50,000 to the fire department for the purpose of a firefighters memorial. So we will be working on developing a new memorial for somewhere in the firehouse. You can see our sign. That was a project and a half to get, is here. We really hope that the residents will give us feedback, whether they like it, what they don't like. We start putting messages up, I don't know if you saw the message that's on there tonight, but it was a reminder of public safety, so.
I like it. I like it.
I saw it when I was coming to it.
Yeah, last night we hosted a fire chiefs meeting, Franklin County Fire Chiefs, and we put welcome fire chiefs, and so it's just nice. We couldn't have done it without the health department. They were behind the financing from the majority of that, and so the idea is emergency management messaging, fire messaging, and health messaging. So we're excited about that. This weekend was Green River Fest, and although it was a big success, they had weather events behind the scenes of Green River Fest. Sunday, we really had some good indication that we could have had some very problematic weather. As a matter of fact, the weather went above us and went below us and really left Green River Fest untouched. Chief Dodge, myself, Marlo Warner, and others. I know myself, I spent the day at Green River Fest having every 2 hours in the morning and then every hour meeting, like, okay, what's the weather doing? And it's a lot of stuff that people don't see behind the scenes that, was done, and we had plans ready to go. But thank God we didn't need to put them in. But they did a great job. The fairgrounds, the organizers, they did a great job. Happy to give them our expertise with that, but it was could have been a different day, Saturday or Sunday. So we're happy that it went the way it did. And other than that, I don't really have anything more unless everybody has any questions.
Comment?
Comments, questions?
Oh, comments. On behalf, I'll speak for the Public Safety Commission, but comment, I'd like to thank all the town departments. It seems like when we have something big happening and we need everybody to pitch in, they all pitch in, they get the job done. For, if it's for the police department, fire department, whomever, they always seem to come to our aid, the other departments, DPW, plumbing, electrical, maintenance. They're always there for us, so, you know, I'd like to give them a tip of our hats, say thank you very much to those departments. I will say that I did stop in to see the demo happen, and I did see the chief in a t-shirt and getting dirty, down and dirty with the rest of the guys moving stuff, so which just wasn't the firefighters, it was the admin staff pitching in and helping out too, so he did have his business shirt off and t-shirt on and sleeves rolled up and helping out too, so. It's a group effort, and thanks to everybody who pitched in and kept the costs down and keeps, that's makes it all the worthwhile that we can get the other things that we need for the station. So thanks to everybody.
You know, I didn't mention, but we did have the on guard for the ribbon cutting, which was a nice touch from the police.
Yes,
We
it
appreciate
was.
that.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very sharp looking.
So some. Yeah, I bet you there was altogether. Probably 750 to 1,000 people that went through the firehouse in a couple days. Yeah, and everybody has the same impression. First thing is, it's beautiful. And then the second thing is, it's much larger than it looks from the outside.
Commissioner, any questions or comments?
Got one more thing for you. Lieutenant Green just sent me a picture.
Of himself?
On the substation is already smashed.
Smash.
Two people came and had fun of it, fighting, threw one into it. So
Welcome to the neighborhood.
looks like we're gonna be doing those window projects sooner than you.
Exactly.
It broke right out, so there's one under.
I know where you get some plywood.
Oh, I do
So,
have
you're gonna go and board them up?
There now.
I do have a update about the chiller. The
Yes.
chiller that does the heat. Go figure. The chiller is in the state at the shop and should be installed shortly. So that is the last big component that's needed here.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah.
And everybody's getting used to their new home.
They are. They are very fortunate, very blessed.
I have to say that I was very impressed walking through the living quarters and how it's dimmer and it's inviting for them to think they're not even in the rest of the building. And I just think that design and that touch is just so important. So I was really impressed when I did the walkthrough.
Yeah, that
Impressed
is-
with the whole building, but that was very.
That is one of the many safety enhancements that this building has. So that light that's in there, that dim light is not done by accident, it's done with a purpose. And the purpose is that when the firefighters are bunked down for the night and a call comes in, before the lights would come on, big loud noise, and they're finding that that's having a negative impact on the overall health of a firefighter's heart. And so now the noise comes up slowly, the lights come up slowly, and that hallway is designed for them to adjust their nighttime vision without brightness, and it transitions out. So like I said, everything in this building, the first priority that we had when we did design, when we sat down with a design team a long time ago was, how do we make this the safest building for our firefighters? What do we need to do to cut down on the very large number of retired firefighters getting cancer? And so that was our goal, and everything that was designed from the layout of where the dorms are, because they were originally on this side of the building, to everything else had that in mind, was for the safety of our firefighters.
Excellent. Thank you, chief.
And I guess we shouldn't forget to thank the fire station building committee for all the hard work and effort that they put in for the past 2.5 years, some of them 5 years on this project, 6 years. So I think we should send them a thank you and a kudos to them from the Public Safety Commission for all their hard work.
Absolutely. Thank you, chief. All right, I don't think we have any old business. Do any commissioners have any old business?
Me?
Yes, you have any old business?
Besides me?
Oh, you do? Okay, I'm not gonna comment, I get myself in trouble. All right, our next meeting, I believe, is July 24th, if I'm correct, is 5 Wednesdays, I think, in July. So everybody be sure to know it's the 4th Wednesday of the month, and July meeting is our reorganization meeting according to our charter. We haven't made it on that month quite in the last couple of years, mostly because I thought it was in January, like all the other commissions and boards do, but ours is in July, so hopefully we can do that. And any comments on that? Questions?
Comment for me, I will not be seeking
Yes.
secretary, so people should take the notice of that. I
Hopefully-
won't be taking any nominations or this time around.
No worries.
Okay.
I'll vote you in anyway.
Hopefully folks
Don't
will,
miss that meeting.
hopefully folks will participate. That's what we ask. All right, we're ready to adjourn. Can I get a motion?
Commissioner, before you.
Yes.
Before you go, can we ask Stephanie or somebody online how the audio was during the course of the meeting? I'm just curious if we need to make any adjustments.
Stephanie or Amy, any comments?
Some camera adjustments, because you can't really see the back of the room on the split screen. And you can't tell who's at the table, so maybe some zoom out on the camera. That's all I noticed.
The table that folks stepped up to, or the commissioner's table? Think you can see the commissioners, correct?
Yes, we can see the commissioners. We can't see the people. So on the left-hand screen, that you can't really see who's at the table.
Gotcha, okay.
But you can look over to the, obviously, I sorry, I have a hard time with it. The female new officer, we could not see the face.
I got you.
So it
Okay.
needed to be zoomed out more because it was cutting off the last couple people on that table.
Okay, great. All right, thank you for that feedback.
You're welcome.
All right, can I have a
So move that we adjourn.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is over. Thank you for participating, folks.